Hey, Mike Wolf here from Mike Wolf Mastery, coming to you from Boston at Fenway Park, home of the Boston Red Sox. And I believe this is America's oldest stadium. In any case, I'm not here to talk about baseball because I know nothing about baseball. I am here to talk about real estate, and a good friend of mine who lives here in Boston, I had a conversation with him yesterday actually, and he was he's saying he wants to get out of his job and get himself into a new, he wants to become an entrepreneur, but he can't make the leap because he doesn't have the cash to do it, the money to do it. And turns out he owns a property worth $700,000 or $800,000 here. And so I told him that sometimes owning your own home, even though I'm the real estate guy, sometimes owning your own home doesn't make any sense. You have to look at what is the cost of ownership versus the cost of renting. And quite often, when we own our own homes, we tend to buy homes that are bigger than what we need, more expensive than what we need. Quite often, when we work out what it's actually costing us to own it, when we take into account insurance, and we take into account repairs, and mortgage payments if we have a mortgage, all those different things, at the end of the day, quite often, even when we take into account the appreciation down the road, we didn't make as much as we thought. And so I'm a really big fan of buying properties that make sense, that are going to put money in your pocket, create a lifestyle for you. I like to have revenue properties in cities that make sense, and buying properties in places where rent is high relative to purchase price, not the other way around. And so I told him, if you were to sell your $800,000 home, having equity in a home, believe it or not, doesn't do you much good. I know our parents and our grandparents taught us to get our homes paid off and life is going to be great when you don't have a house payment. I would disagree with that. I think that having cash flow is king. I can't go to a restaurant right now or to an airline and say, hey, you know what, my net worth is X amount, so you should give me food or you should let me on your plane. I can't do that. I need cash flow. I need actual cash in pocket to support my lifestyle and to put food on my table, to do things I want to do. So freedom really comes from having that cash flow consistently every single month. And so he could take that same, let's say his property's worth $800,000, he could sell it, buy like 8 revenue properties in a place like Atlanta, which is my favorite market at this time, and probably generate around 60, maybe even 70,000 a year in income passively while he's sleeping. That money's going to come in, and that would allow him to go and jump out of his job and get into that new career that he wants to start. So it's very important to always measure what is the cost of home ownership. And in some cities it makes a lot of sense. If I lived in Atlanta, I'd be a homeowner all day long. It doesn't make sense to be a renter there. If I lived in Boston, I would definitely be a renter. If I lived in California, most California, I would be a renter. If I lived in New York, if I lived in most of Canada right now, I would rather be a renter, have my money working harder for me, creating that passive income so that I could go and live the life I love, which is what I'm doing right now. So I'm Mike Wolf. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out my website, mikewolfmastery.com, and share this with anybody who might benefit from this information. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you soon.